Hello, Craig.
Hello, Colin.
We're the Unbiased Opinion, and this week we're talking about Captain America, the First Avenger. We're diving back into the MCU after kind of talking about other movies for a while. So, Craig, let's just get right into it. What did you think of Captain America, the First Avenger from 2011?
I like this. This was always one of my more favorite early MCU movies.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot too. I think for me, it's better watching it this time than I did in the theater. I liked it a little bit more now. And maybe you could say that's because I appreciate what the early MCU entries are now, as opposed to the trash we get. But I always thought it was a pretty solid movie.
Especially when you look at the earlier movies, people always talk about the first Iron Man and the Avengers. And I always felt that Captain America he was on that level, but he tended to get left out.
Well, I can say with confidence, and I know you will agree, is that this is better than Thor. I know
Yes.
you'll agree with me on that. I think the disparity between the two isn't close. I think Thor really isn't that good. And we talked about that a couple months ago. But yeah, I think this is pretty good. It got good reviews when it came out. It has a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb, an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 3.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and I believe a 66 on Metacritic. So it got pretty good reviews when it came out. It wasn't that big of a box office success because it says on Wikipedia it has a budget of 140 to 216.7 million and it grossed 370. But these were the stepping stones. These were introducing characters properly before your big crossover film.
Yes, because people often say, oh, well, it did better than Captain America, the First Avenger, but doing well in the early days doing slightly better than Captain America, which I think was that and the Hulk were the two worst performing box office movies, really isn't that much of an achievement. Those were the stepping stones, like you were saying. Once the Avengers came out, everything was making money.
Because I think it's very hard to predict, and then we'll get into the movie, but it's very hard to predict box office results with movies because there's a whole bunch of factors. And one of them is brand trust and creating an audience for it. Your first couple movies will usually not succeed or do as well as you would want. There are obviously some anomalies here or there, but you have to create the brand trust with the audience, and then they'll get layered in and suckered in for a while, as we saw with the MCU, where
Suckered
even
in.
yeah, well, like Guardians, which was a good movie, that made a good amount. That made like 700 and something million. And then you have your steady success, which the MCU did have, and now they're wishing for the old days. And it's kind of like the problem with the DCU Superman. Or no, yeah, DCU, not the EU. The new Superman movie that came out grossed over 600 million, but people were saying, "Oh, Man of Steel grossed more in 2013." You can't compare it now. You can't. It's too difficult. There's too many things have changed.
Also, you have to get back a lot of the trust that the Snyderverse lost.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You have to reestablish trust. So that's what this movie was doing. It was introducing Captain America for the new Avengers. And I know some people said that was a criticism of this movie, is that this felt like a prologue to the Avengers. But I don't know. I thought it
I
was really well. I thought
I don't really agree with that.
the World War II aesthetic was really nice and well done. And we'll talk about some other criticisms they have about the usage of Hydra instead of Nazis.
That's a
So
criticism?
I did see that was a criticism where people felt like using Hydra was sanitizing World War II instead of using Nazis.
But it's a comic book movie.
Craig, there's not logic with some of these people. Now, Craig,
I
what do you,
mean, just if you want to really have a fully no holds barred look at Nazis in World War II, you're not going to watch a Captain America movie. You're going to watch a documentary.
yes, you're not going to watch Indiana Jones. You're not going to watch Captain America. You're going to watch a documentary.
I mean, that's a very low IQ, negative IQ take.
Yeah, because what are you expecting? Are you expecting to see a comic book movie about, it was essentially a propaganda piece about, I don't know, showing a clear view of World War II? Like, are you high? What are you expecting? It'll be a little tone deaf, is what we're saying. But, Craig, what did you like about the movie?
I think a lot of it comes down to the main character, Steve
Yes.
Rogers. I think it's him really that's the big reason why people like the movie. He's a good person, and there's no real character development for him. He's just a good person doing good things, and I like that. People complain that he didn't really have much of a character arc in this movie, or most of his movies, really. And I guess traditional storytelling, that's I guess a no-no, but in his case, he's just a good person doing what's right.
Well, with him and his movies, it's always his belief system is at odds with the enemy. That's always the clash with, or yeah, his direct clash with the antagonist in his movies. Is like you said, he doesn't really have much of a character. He's not Mr. Perfect, but he is always good at heart, and he's always at odds. His ideas are always at odds with, Tony Stark in the second movie and even Shield in the third movie and Shield in the second movie. So that's like the whole thing with Captain America. Doesn't have a character, but the whole point of those movies is that his good nature is always at odds with someone else.
Yes, and his goodness usually wins in the end.
Anything else, Craig? What else do you like?
A lot of it, I do like the World War II aesthetic to it. Not obviously the war stuff, but you could see the costumes and all the way they had people dressed. And even his costume, it's not, I know they had the propaganda suit that had the booties and it looked like he was wearing a sweater, but I liked his actual war suit.
Yeah, I wish
Looked
they
like it
kind of
kind of
brought
fit the
that
era.
back too.
Well, it did bring it back in Winter Soldier.
Well, I mean, for the rest of the other movies, yeah, he brought it back in Winter Soldier because he stole it at a museum.
But he's not stealing the Avengers one, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, like you said, I did like the USO outfit because it's a good homage to how kind of silly his original costume looked. Because, like most superhero costumes of that era, even in the 60s and 70s, is that they don't have armor. They're wearing tights with the pirate booties, and it looks a little silly.
Or in Namer's case, you're just wearing a Speedo.
Or yeah, or you're wearing a Speedo, or you're wearing pajamas like Superman. So it always did look a little weird, and I think yeah, it was a nice homage to the absurdity of his costume. And he was being used as a USO, the whatever you want to call it, show monkey.
Your
Because
propaganda piece to sell war bonds.
yeah, and I saw some people didn't like that too. Some people said that dragged on for too long, but I thought that was good because it showed that he's not being fully utilized at all, and he's kind of a joke.
Well, especially the jokes to the people who are actually fighting. He's not doing what he wants. He's
Yeah.
selling war bonds, which I guess is good, but not doing what he wants. He wants to actually be on the front lines.
Yeah, he didn't go through this process of becoming a super soldier just to be a big propaganda piece. He wanted to go and help and fight. That was the whole thing.
Says, you didn't think it was funny when he's obviously reading off the shield, reading his lines, words, line by word, and then he has the horrible when he punches Hitler in the face. It's so bad. He's like a foot away. He doesn't even come close to hitting him.
Yeah, I thought it was charming the kids screaming and like look behind you.
Yeah.
Cuz you see that in like I remember in Disney too, some whatever kind of live action show, the kids would be in the front like look out, thinking they're interacting. I don't know,
Yeah,
that
it's
was like a
supposed
nice
to,
touch.
yeah, it's supposed to be fun. That's the way they're selling it to. I guess the parents bring the kids. Parents will, I guess, yeah, I'll buy a war bond or come to the show, pays for whatever. I don't know how that stuff works, but that's I'm assuming what happens anyway. It was nice to look, and the song was catchy. They weren't just having a propaganda piece. They had a nice little show and dance for you.
Yeah, I thought it fit in the movie. It didn't feel out of place at all.
They even reference in the movie too. They keep calling him the man with the plan, and I think even Red Skull was saying how he's a big fan of his work.
But you feel bad for Steve though during that. In part, he's doing it because he wants to help, but he knows it's not really helping anything. But because he's such a good guy, he's still just going along with it,
And his
even if
choice
it's at
too
odds. Yeah,
his choice was either do that or get poked and prodded all day, which isn't really gonna do anything.
yeah. I think Craig will probably agree. I think the first half or so is really good, and then the
Yeah.
second half kind of detours a little bit into generic territory.
Yeah, there's
But
some stuff I didn't care for.
first half
Like,
is really strong,
yes. Especially in
especially
the
you
second
go.
half
Yeah, you go.
when obviously Cap and Peggy like each other. Instead of trying to have more scenes of them liking each other, they have this dumb scene where this woman kisses him and then there's like this conflict. Oh, he's just a typical frat soldier. You know what I mean? All of a
Yeah.
sudden she's like, oh, you're just a typical soldier. We don't really care for me. It's like you didn't need that. It was just pointless conflict.
Yeah, that was not needed at all.
Like I
That
feel
was
like if they spent more time having them maybe going on a quick date or something, just spending more time together. So when he does sacrifice himself, it's more tragic.
yeah, yeah. I actually agree because they had that one scene where she's in the dress and then they're talking, but that's really it. They definitely should have had another scene together, like you said, to emphasize and show that they like each other and that they wish for this to continue. But then he has to go into action and then he has to sacrifice himself.
Yeah, it makes it more tragic because when he quote unquote dies, I mean, obviously we know he's not dying, but it's harder to feel bad for her when they don't really have that many scenes together. And a good chunk of the scenes are them in conflict where he thinks she's with Stark and then he's with the other girl.
Fondue. He doesn't know
Well,
what fondue means.
well, I guess he said in a weird way. I did like when it's Stark, it's just cheese and bread, my friend. Again, just pointless melodrama. There was no need for that. But I don't see people complaining about those scenes, which is they complain about not talking about the brutality of World War II.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just a movie, guys.
Yeah, you're not going to get any World War II insight from a Captain America movie.
Like, how dumb do you have to be to want that from a comic book movie?
You know, Craig, I couldn't even tell you. And I guess what makes Captain America, at least this version, I'm not too familiar with the comic one, but I'm sure it's much of the same, is that what the movie is saying is that a true hero is his heart, not what you look like or how strong you are, it's what's inside. A basic moral, but a good moral done well in this context. Yeah, I
What
will.
Erskine was talking about the serum, how it amplifies what's inside you. So, yeah, you saw how horrible the Red Skull became, how good Captain America is in the movie, and he becomes later down the line, how he's the moral center of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, yeah, it was well done.
Especially
And
like his last
yeah,
point too. They didn't have like some speech when he was dying. He just does the tap on the chest, like, please remain who you are.
yeah, because I imagine now it would have grabbed Steve. Steve, I'm so cold. Remember, please, to never
Don't
forget where you've come from.
don't have your face melt off.
Don't become a Nazi and have your face melted off.
It's like, oh yeah, thanks. I'll try. He looks at the camera.
Okay.
That was weird.
I gotta go now.
Looks into the camera.
And,
Look at a load of this guy.
and also I remember because we saw this in the theaters. I remember people laughed when that guy who is from The Hobbit, who is I forget Thorin. He's
Yes.
the Hydra agent. He throws a little kid into the water. Steve goes to check on the kid. It's okay, I can swim. Or that guy chuckle.
That's one of those jokes that I don't mind as much because it's kind of it subverted your expectations where normally the kid can't swim. It's like, no, I can swim.
Yeah.
So that one didn't bother me as much.
Oh no, I thought it was a nice little
Yeah.
moment. Cause yeah, now imagine. Oh no, Steve, you have to save the drowning child. Oh, I can't swim.
Let him drown. And the neighbor
Oh
shows up out of
God,
nowhere and saves him. It's like,
that
Thank you, Prince of Atlantis.
if that was Man of Steel, I'm gonna let that kid drown. I gotta snap Zod's neck. But yeah, I think what the movie is saying at its core about Captain America, even like I said, even though it's a basic moral, it is still very well done in this. And his optimism and his good spirit is infectious. And I think
Yeah,
this might be
like,
the best portrayal of Captain America in a movie.
do you
Because
really count the 90s one?
no. I mean, like in the MCU, because well, maybe he's good in Winter Soldier too, but I don't like him in the Avengers that much, which we'll get to. But I don't know.
Especially when Joss Whedon's writing him.
Yeah, I think. Well, this is actually, I believe Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. They know how to write Captain America, and they usually done a good job. But Joss Whedon does not.
Because they're just having him be a really good person. Joss Whedon's really emphasizing the old. I guess we'll talk more about the Avengers. It really emphasizes the old man part of him. It's like he's not old.
And
He's
the
just time
fish out of
displaced.
water thing. Yeah.
I've always had that problem. I guess I'll say for the Avengers, but I always have a problem with that kind of stuff.
Now, Craig, what did you think of Peggy Carter?
I like her. I think she's definitely one of the better love interests. Obviously, they had the pointless melodrama, but at the core, she's like a female version of Captain America, very good to her core.
Yeah, I wish, like you said, I wish there was more scenes of her. Again, to create more than a physical attraction, why Steve would want, like, why would they want to continue to see each other? You know, have more scenes of that.
And I think it'd be helpful too if she could have scenes together before he became Captain America. So like she kind of likes the fact that he's a good person. Obviously, becoming a super soldier helps, but don't be with like him because he's a stallion. Like him before he becomes that.
Well, she did. They had little scenes like that during the
Just like
training
one
process.
scene, really.
Well, it was him. She gave a look when he did the flag thing. They said no one has got the flag in X amount of years, and Steve,
17 years.
yeah, Steve undoes the screw at the bottom. It falls over. He takes it, and then the grenade sacrifice part, which was a dummy grenade, but he still jumped on it to save the rest of his little platoon.
I know, but I would still like just a little bit, a smidge more.
Oh no, I agree, because then it would really show that she doesn't like Captain America for his rockin' bod and Ice Cube like abs. She likes him for who he is, and that's just a good person.
Like abs. I've never heard of that before.
But yeah, I
But
agree. I agree with you.
But she was very well received because we got so much spin-off material with her. She appeared in so many movies, which granted, it ties into Captain America's story too, how he really, really loved her and really wished he could have the life with her, and they ruined his character for her, but that's another issue. And she also had her own TV show.
Agent Carter, yeah, on
She had two TV
ABC.
shows to herself, Agent Carter, then she also basically got the What If show to herself
Oh yeah, and then
as
she
Captain
came
Carter.
back as Captain Carter, and then she was not. It's not de-aged. Is it up-aged in Ant-Man? And then she appears a whole lot throughout the MCU.
Which
And
it never bothered me because she appeared appropriately. Like she was a founder of Shield, so
yeah,
she
you
appeared
just
in
wish in her first movie there was more of her.
yes, and then she gets cut in half by Wanda.
Then that happens. But we don't talk about that. Because the rest of the cast are good, kind of not memorable. Even Bucky, for the most part, he's a good, not great.
He's another character too. I don't think they should have killed him off at the end of the second act. I know it drives Steve's point home to really want to take down Hydra, but his motivation didn't really change. Like he wanted to take down Hydra regardless.
That's
Like
why he
killing
wanted to
Bucky,
enlist and fight in World War II.
yeah, killing Bucky doesn't really change anything. It makes it more tragic, but I don't really think it changed much.
And I can't even say it makes it more personal because, again, he really wanted, even when he was a skinny, frail stick guy, he really wanted to fight and serve and lay down his life like the many people he knew.
Yeah, and also it's a war between nations. He has no qualm with the German people. He's not anti-German. He's not protesting. I don't want Germans in my country. He's not rounding up the Japanese, throwing the internment camps. He just wants to serve and serve his country.
Well, you mentioned that, right? There's this little quick scene, Craig. Remember when I forget what that guy's name is? I know he appears as the principal again in Spider-Man
Oh,
Far From Home.
is it?
I forget his name.
I'm looking up his name right here, Jim Morito.
Yeah. So there's a little scene where Steve, he's breaking out the first prison camp and he's looking around. He's like, "Are we taking everybody?" Looking at the Morita guy. He's like, "Easy, Ace. I'm from Nebraska."
They said I'm from Fresno, Ace.
Oh, Fresno. Yeah, California.
What, are we taking everybody?
I'm from Fresno, Ace.
That got a little chuckle out of me.
Yeah, it's nice that they included the Howling Commandos because actually, I don't know if you know in the comics, but they were originally led by Nick Fury.
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah,
Dum Dum
and
Dugan, he's in Marvel 10 Alliance, Craig. Come on.
yes, yeah, well, of course. And obviously, they weren't going to have a Nick Fury World War II movie, so they included him in Captain, which I think is fitting.
Yeah.
I think they talked about having a Wolverine cameo as well, but they don't have the rights to him.
God, that if this was done today, they would have definitely.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say because he does fight in World War II, but obviously not the focus either.
But I think what makes this more unique is that Captain America was actually created before, I think, the U.S. entry into World War II. So I actually asked ChatGPT, and it said he
Yes.
debuted in March 1941 because obviously Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, they were anti-fascist, and their first image of Captain America is him literally punching Hitler in the face. So he was created with propaganda in mind, but it wasn't exactly created by the U.S. Army or the United States to boost morale. It was just two guys very passionate, and they wanted to create their new way of
Inspiring.
inspiring. They wanted to make a patriotic hero that could inspire people, I guess.
Which is kind of funny how he actually survived and became a major character. Granted, it was more so coming back in the 60s. Actually, I think they mentioned they might think about having a Magneto cameo. Like that would see we were joking about that before. That would be tasteless.
Yeah, that wouldn't be very good.
Like having, Wolverine, but again, how would you fit him into the movie? And then
I think it'd be too distracting even if you had Wolverine in the
Well,
movie, even for a cameo.
I guess I just wouldn't play it up. It'd be more, yeah, maybe you're right. They're not having it.
Yeah, I think they'd be better off not having it. What did you think of the Red Skull, and where would you rank him in the MCU Phase 1 tier list of villains?
It's kind of hard because I don't think he was all that great, but Phase 1 doesn't have a strong showing. You have Van Gogh, who was horrible.
He was terrible.
Loki, I guess, was good. I mean, I thought he was a tad overrated, but still, he was on the better side. So was, what's his name?
Obadiah?
Yeah, Stain.
Yeah, he was all right.
So like I say,
yeah.
him being up there doesn't really mean he was that great. It's just the quality or the selection, the choice that you have isn't great.
I think he was hovering on the line of stock generic.
Yeah.
He would be every evil German scientist in a movie if he didn't have his red face. Like, he'd be indistinguishable from evil, bad German guy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can't say I disagree with that.
His motive was like, I want to create weapons and take over the world. Ha 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 ha. Which, I guess, to be fair, in the context of World War II, that is what the Nazis wanted to do. They did want to conquer the world.
Well, at
But-
different stages, right? I mean, they weren't gonna. That's
Yeah.
that's where our World War II documentarian people. We're not gonna go into that.
But I don't know. He just hovered on that line of forgetting, and I don't know. I didn't really like him. He was okay. I think generic is a good word.
Yeah, I didn't think it's funny how I guess in the comics they really play up the Nazi aspect of him, but he was like, whatever you want. I'm Hydra. I want to take over the world my way. I don't care whatever you call me.
Yeah, because he has Berlin on their target system. That's where those two Nazis are like, Berlin is here.
It's like, so it is.
So it is.
Off you go.
So let me ask you this. When was Hydra created in the comics?
So they were originally created to be a SHIELD Nick Fury villain. Because Captain America didn't fight Hydra in World War II.
He fought
specifically
Nazis.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I figured.
Because there's that, I think that famous cover where Nick Fury's driving the helicarrier, he's like turning the wheel. It's like Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they show, I think, the Hydra Goon.
Was Nick Fury also created in World War II, or was he in the 60s?
So he was created in the 60s, but he originally was created for basically like a World War II throwback comic. It was Nick Fury or Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos. And I think they fought, I don't think they fought Hydra there, but they fought some people from Hydra, like Baron Strucker. Then they created
Okay.
Hydra.
Okay. I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, they had to use Hydra here because of a reoccurring villain.
That, and I do feel weird when I know people want some for some reason want historical accuracy, but if I were to see a movie of Captain America just fighting straight up war, fighting actual Germans and Nazis, I feel like it'd be a little weird. Fighting a more comic booky World War II villain, I think, is more fitting.
Yeah, I agree. Even if it is against the origins of Captain America, like you said,
They still
he
fighting
was.
the Red Skull.
Yeah, he was still. Was the Red Skull also in the 40s, or he was in the 60s?
99% sure he was in the 40s. Let me do a quick fact check.
But he was just a Nazi, probably then.
Yeah, he was in the first issue. Yeah, he's just a Nazi though.
Okay.
Generic.
Did he take a serum? Why is his face all messed up?
I can't remember if it was a mask or not.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, I never really read the original Captain America stuff.
Yeah, you'd know him from the Avengers line of comics. I do remember when I watched this, I did like the guy who played young Howard Stark. I thought he was just as charismatic as Robert Downey Jr. It looked like he could be his father, you know?
Yeah, and acted like his father.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
And he had the look too of the era too, because I know some actors won't ever change. Or like the thin
Yeah, the
mustache.
pencil mustache, the slick back hair. Even the technology, too, it's highly advanced. It looks like it was made from parts of World War II, or at least that time frame, the 1940s. A lot of knobs.
Yeah,
Even
knobs,
the
dials.
yeah, the flying thing on the car, the engines looked like some kind of archaic design. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Abraham Erskine, who was great. Even though he had very little screen time, he was very important to the movie and to Captain America, and I thought his scenes were well done.
Even his point about Captain America, like he doesn't want to hire somebody who's like a senseless murderer because like, oh, I'm gonna kill every single Nazi I see. He's like, that's a little crazy. Let's focus on just trying to stop them from taking over the world. We don't have to kill every single German. Let's focus on having good people get the serum.
Yeah, I thought the message was clear, was well done. Now, Craig, what didn't you like about this movie?
Well, I already mentioned the pointless melodrama between Cap and Peggy. There was no reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could have had more scenes. I thought Bucky's death wasn't timed all that well. You could have had more scenes of them together as well.
Yeah, I agree.
But I felt like it would have been better if maybe when maybe they both go on to the Valkyrie, Bucky maybe flies off first, and then Captain America fights the Red Skull.
Or yeah, or maybe Bucky quote unquote dies before he gets to the Red Skull at the end.
Something to that effect, because like I said, his motive, Bucky dying didn't really change anything for Steve. I don't know. I didn't really think it fit well. Plus, the horrible green screen of him falling.
Yeah, that didn't look too good. That felt like it was straight out of a video game.
I feel like that could have maybe emboldened Cap more if the Red Skull, as far as he knows, kills Bucky, then he could have motivation to really go after the Red Skull.
Or yeah, the Red Skull punches him off into a cliff.
It makes it more personal.
Something like he was involved directly with Bucky's quote unquote death would make it more personal for Steve.
Yeah, because a random goon shoots him off a train. It's not really. I mean, you could say it's more realistic, but it's not. I would say good storytelling or more adds to the drama.
Yeah, and again, like by the time you're at the end, second half isn't that good.
Yeah.
It's just by the numbers, generic.
Other thing too, which could have
Cliche.
helped, maybe they could use one more action scene with the Howling Commandos working together. Because I know they had the scene where they capture Zola and get the train, but it was kind of a quick action scene. They had a whole montage of them taking out Hydra facilities. You could have hoping maybe we could have seen an action set piece of them taking out a Hydra facility, working together as a team. I know you had the montage, but
I guess in the filmmaker's mind, that scene would have been redundant because they already had a scene of him helping and breaking them out.
well, like now after I know they broke them out, but then
I know you
working
want
together.
the full scene with the Howling Commandos. I know, I guess in their mind, or maybe they had something planned and it was budgetary reasons, but
We'll have the montage. Maybe that was the.
yeah, maybe that was their excuse. So we don't need to show everything, even though, like you said, maybe before the montage starts, you have the Howling Commandos and they destroy some base, and then the montage starts, and the montage can be even quicker and more brief.
And so you could see some of the camaraderie together, like how they work together, how they act before. Maybe someone's nervous, how they act after they're celebrating, how they celebrate together.
Even though in the terms of story, they don't really impact impacted. I just wish, knowing the comics, and as you know the comics too, that they were in it more. Because this is really the only opportunity for them, the Howling Commandos, to be in a movie.
Yeah, because I know they had, again, Agent Carter had her own TV show where most of them showed up after, but that was never planned from the get-go. It's probably a one and done kind of deal.
Yeah.
So again, just a little extra scenes, because then when Cap dies, you see them having their moment to the captain, but how well did you really know him?
None
To
of
the
them
audience, doesn't
really
seem like
knew him.
Yeah, to the audience, I mean, you guys showed up halfway through the movie, and then, sorry, we're never going to see you again.
Tommy Lee Jones, Chester Phillips, always thought that Erskine made the wrong pick, so he was just generic, gruff, tough captain guy, or colonel.
He was, like you said, stock.
Yeah.
I've seen people really praise his performance. I'm like, I don't think he did anything special. He was just the generic army guy.
Yeah.
Not good, not bad, just
He wasn't
fit the
bad.
role.
Yeah, he was just, like he said, tired, grumpy colonel in army.
He was
sassy. He's sassy.
I did like the one scene where Cap says, "Could you give me the list of the cash?" He goes, "You don't get to give me orders."
Yeah, even Tommy Lee Jones said on the Wikipedia, he says he described the character as the one you've seen in 1,000 movies, the gruff, skeptical officer overseeing a team of talented, slightly sarcastic, especially talented soldiers.
Even he understood the assignment.
And Toby Jones, he always plays evil scientist or evil German scientist.
He does?
He was in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny as a German. Oh, no, he wasn't a German scientist, though. He was Indiana Jones' friend, but I feel like he always plays a bad guy. This guy gets typecasted. He was in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. He played the guy at the auction who gets
The
eaten
guy.
alive.
Who are you, the guy?
I'm the guy.
I'm the guy.
He's in other stuff too. Oh, he voices Dobby in Harry Potter. Oh, that's weird. I didn't know that.
Oh god, that creature.
I don't know. I felt like he gets typecast as like scientist man. Guess I'm wrong.
Well, he kind of was scientist, man. But you're saying evil scientist. Maybe just
Yeah,
scientist.
scientist guy. Well, I guess we made it this far without talking about Chris Evans. I know we talked about Captain America, but we didn't talk about his performance. Obviously, he was good, and it's a shock at the time, because we all remembered him from the Human Torch from Fantastic Four. So it's kind of weird at the time seeing him. Oh wait, this is Johnny Storm. But now he's more synonymous with Captain America than he is with the Human Torch because he played Captain America for 8 years.
Yeah, he was very good. This is definitely one of my more favorite performances, like you said. Not that he's worse in other movies, but this definitely gives him more of a chance to shine as Captain America.
Yeah,
Or Steve Rogers, the good guy.
And it's because Joss Whedon doesn't have his stinky hands on this. They understand
That too.
what he is at his core, and he's just a guy with a good heart who wants to do what's right for everyone, and not just for himself. And that's who Captain America is.
Now, Colin, not to
Yes.
pull a Neil deGrasse Tyson on you,
Oh boy.
but I did think it was funny when they were talking about the super soldier serum, how it's going to increase muscle growth to make him strong. Does that also give you more vertebrae and make you taller?
I guess?
I'm not going to go into the science of it, but it would just give me a chuckle, like how making you stronger doesn't make you grow 6 inches. But I know it's not scientifically accurate. I'm not going to pretend it is, but that just kind of got a chuckle out of me.
So, okay, in the comics too, I'm assuming it's almost a one-for-one translation, right? Of his origin.
I never really read. the
Was he a
original
skinny
Cap.
little stick
Yeah, he was.
guy?
He was small.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Johann Schmidt was also pretty small, and then he grew like 6 inches to whatever or how tall Hugo Weaving is.
I don't think he grew. I think just Captain America grew,
Oh.
which is funny because they were talking about how they wanted Hodge. Like, wouldn't it be more impressive if you can turn the skinny guy who's like 5'6" into the 6'3" Chad? That's more
Well, I don't
impressive than
think
turning
Chris
a guy
Evans
who's
is
already
that tall. I don't know.
okay. You know what I mean? Turning
Yeah.
this skinny guy, really small, into this specimen. That's more impressive than turning a big guy already into a slightly bigger
Craig,
guy.
with that logic, with the amount of muscle growth from skinny stick guy to Chris Evans, what would be the outcome of the guy who's already pretty big and in good shape? Would he be even more disgustingly large and huge and more in shape?
Well, from what we saw from the Red Skull, I don't think it's going to make you that much big. It's going to make you strong, but it's not going to make you, like the Hulk or people who have. What do those guys from Brazil do? They put like that.
Oh, they
fluid in them.
inject. Yeah, they inject. Oh God, they inject oils into their muscles or skins, and it looks disgusting.
Yeah, they're not going to look like that, but they'll look naturally strong. Like even Captain America, he's obviously shredded, but he's not disgusting.
So you're saying they're not going to look like the Tank from Left 4 Dead 2?
No. So that's why there's talking about, oh, why they should get the strong guy to do it. I'm like, no, get the skinny guy because that is more impressive. Imagine turning every physical, like it cured his asthma, it cured every single ailment that he had. That's
Yeah,
more
he can't get
impressive.
drunk because of his metabolism.
Imagine, yeah, we'll cure your asthma and make you a super soldier as well. That's more impressive.
Yeah, what a cheat code that would be. He would win every drinking contest ever.
Imagine sending him to the Olympics. Or imagine he was trying out for a baseball team or for an NFL team.
Oh yeah, he would crush the competition.
Honestly, he'd probably do like a halfback toss or just anything, really.
Can you imagine him as safety and just cracking down on some guy? They'd probably die.
No, imagine him as middle line, any position, middle linebacker, defensive end. Imagine him trying to rush the passer, just literally throws the lineman into the quarterback.
Yeah, it'd be kind of scary. And now we would be remiss that obviously in the comics, only 20 years passed when Captain America gets trapped in ice. But here it's 70 years. So that's definitely way more tragic. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the MCU, they talked about, or Kevin Feige talked about how they might want to restart the MCU, or they are going to restart it. So what are they going to do with their time periods going forward with Captain America?
See, it's Captain America getting frozen is always going to be but as more time goes on, it becomes more tragic. But it's the other characters. Like now we can't interact with Iron Man's father. He's going to interact with his grandfather. It doesn't feel as impactful. Nick Fury, I know in the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Nick Fury's dad fought in World War II. Now was Nick Fury's grandfather going to fight in World War II? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like Magneto was in World War II. He's going to be, if you try to do the ages right, he'll be 90 in modern day, which really isn't a threatening villain or a scary villain.
Well, unless you use the excuse that mutants age slower, then you could
I
possibly
feel like
get
that's
away
cheating,
with it.
though.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, like, I know so many characters are tied to World War II that if you have it take place now in 2030, like Magneto would be 100 at best if it takes place in 2030.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm curious on what their strategy is going to be. Or is it going to be like the Fantastic Four, where everything takes place in the 60s in a different universe? I don't know.
I feel like that would get old quick, taking place in not so much a different time, but having it take place specifically in a retro futuristic 60s. And you're gonna get
Yeah,
some
that's
idiot director who's
true.
gonna be upset that it's a different universe. Like, well, in this universe, we have this current event that I want to talk about. It's like, well, do you really have to? It's a different universe where we're free of that stuff.
Yeah.
Or I think we mentioned it before too. Only there's some director who just absolutely hates the fact that it takes place in an alternate universe, and they'll try to like do something that destroys the universe, destroys the logic of it, ruins it as they do.
Yeah, I wonder what Feige's cooking up and how they're going to address that. Because you can't really take Captain America and put him into some other war. He wouldn't really fit in Vietnam. Would they dare put him in the Iraq War? I don't think so.
Well, the Korean War.
Or the Korean War, the Gulf War. You kind of have to keep him in the World War II world. World War
Actually, you know
II
what?
world.
Let's have him go fight in the Revolutionary War. Why not?
Oh, God. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting kind of thought. Like, how are they going to address this?
They kind of lucked out where the ages of the characters kind of fit. Obviously, Iron Man was older. Like, you think
Yeah.
Stark had him when he was 50, but for the most part, Thailand's were able to kind of work itself out.
Kind of like the original X-Men movies, where with Magneto's age in the first X-Men movie kind of matched with Ian McKellen, so it all made sense that he was a Holocaust survivor, and it all added up perfectly, like this does too.
They're not gonna have that luxury anymore.
Yeah,
But
they're
I
gonna-
always find that scene sad at the end when Captain America realizes, because the first he thinks, "Oh God, am I trapped by the Germans or the Nazis or the Hydra?" It's like, no, you're 70 years in the future.
yeah, that's pretty rough. That's pretty bad.
Very sad. Hate to see it. Happens to the
Yeah.
best of us.
Let me just say, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I would brush it off, but other people.
That's really sad at the end, because especially when you look at Captain America, he's just such a good guy, and you would never want that to happen to him.
Well, at the end of the day, he obviously wanted to fight and then go
I
home.
know,
He
I
wanted
know.
to have had a family, which I know they gave him an endgame, but kind of ruins the tragic part of the character and bad choice they made.
Yeah, yeah.
Couldn't let a good thing happen.
Well, it's kind of like the Spider-Man conundrum, where kind of suffering, and at least for Captain America too, the idea of what could have been for him in his life had he not sacrificed himself. That kind of makes them the character they are. And much like Spider-Man, the suffering and normal people problems is not the appeal, but that's what makes him relatable, and that's part of the character. So when you take away these things from these characters, it's not really who they are.
Yeah,
As
especially
cruel as
in
that
Spider-Man's
sounds.
case.
Yeah, as cruel as that sounds.
Well,
it's
yeah,
just not who they are.
It's a drama with superpowers and supervillains.
Yeah, with relatable problems problems.
I don't know how relatable getting time displaced is,
Well, no,
but
I mean, I'm more so in the case of Spider-Man.
I know, I know. It's funny, especially that scene with Nick Fury shows. But I remember, I think I almost went to New York City around that time period when they were
Oh.
filming that. I remember being told that they were filming, I think, for this movie at that time. And obviously, I never went, but it would have been cool to see that scene being filmed. 'Cause I think they only filmed that in a day or two.
They probably had to wake up super early to do that, to shut down Times Square, and they probably had like a 2 hour window, and it probably costs a lot of money.
I know that's you always tell us like it's expensive to film in New York City.
It's very expensive, especially Times Square. You shut down for a little bit. My God, they didn't exactly
Yeah, because
have the
that,
Disney dollars now. Then they didn't have that back then.
because that was filmed in Times Square. I know that for a fact. Because I know everything is green screen now. There's no real sets. There's no real anything. Are the actors even real? We don't know. But that was actually filmed on location.
Yeah, it looks good. I think also the overall look of the movie looks pretty good too.
You know, that retro aesthetic.
Yeah, it doesn't look disgusting or bleak. I think the movie was well paced. Even though I have problems with the second half, it doesn't ruin the movie.
Oh, a good movie. Definitely one of my favorites out of Phase 1 batch.
So
I know
out of the-
people always say it's Iron Man 1, that's the best, but I've always had a soft spot for this one.
So out of the Phase 1 movies so far we covered all but Avengers. Where would you rank this one?
This one's always been my personal favorite.
Oh, okay. So be in the S tier, A tier?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's hard to say because S tier. I don't know if I like it that much for S tier. Where's Iron Man?
I don't remember. Maybe you put that in A or S tier. I don't know. Hold on.
Like it's good. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely have others that I like more. But still, one of my favorite out of the Phase 1 batch. I like me some Captain America.
Yeah.
When I watched this on the streaming platform, they didn't. Maybe I just didn't see to the end, but they didn't have that sizzle reel of the Avengers movie that was coming up. Did you see that?
I think I might have clicked off at that. I do remember they had that in the theatrical because we did see that theatrically.
Yes, we had the scene like just a couple of shots of the Avengers. I think some of the shots in the helicarrier. I think they had Thor throwing Mjolnir at Iron Man. I think that was like
Yeah.
the final shot where
And Iron Man says like nice swing, point break or something.
I mean, swing.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like 30 seconds. I don't know if that's on Disney Plus.
Because I think they were filming that movie when this came out, so they didn't have obviously everything ready.
You know what? They might have. Yeah. I think they were filming that. And they was like, oh, here, get all this footage and quickly put it into this movie, color corrected and everything. Yeah, I do remember that. I completely forgot.
Because I don't want to say lost media, but that's something that I can't imagine people are going to really know about anymore. That's something you had to kind of be there to see and experience. But another positive thing, I know people talked about Iron Man 2 had too many setup for other movies. This kind of had some of that stuff, but it never felt as forced. Like they introduced, obviously Thor introduced Asgardians, but it also had as references to Asgard and the Norse mythology without going too much into it. Because it was inspired by real life stuff. They had the Tesseract, which played a huge role in future movies. Obviously, Howling Commandos, the precursors to the Shield.
Armin
A lot of
Zola.
stuff. Yeah, a lot of world building this movie without having it feel forced, like Iron Man 2.
Yeah, it was much better done here.
Like, it felt like it was part of the world that just happened to be brought up later.
Yeah, Iron Man 2 was like a best hits of Iron Man where they try to tackle so many things, but they didn't really succeed in either of them.
Yeah, this was more natural.
So I think this is a pretty good movie. It holds up today, Craig? It holds up to today's standards?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be timeless. I mean, taking place in World War II, it was always going to be different, but it's not something that's set in modern day where there's no modern references. There's no weird Elon Musk cameo. There's no weird. I think Iron Man referenced MySpace in the first Iron Man movie.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was like very opening scene because I want this on your MySpace.
Right. Oh, my God.
Yeah, no dated references. It's just a comic book alternate World War II movie.
Yeah, I always liked it. It was pretty good. Not the best of the Captain America movies. Well, it's better than the new one. But of the
I don't
original
consider that a
Steve,
Captain America.
the original Steve trilogy,
The Steve trilogy.
probably the weakest, but
That's saying a lot because it's the weak. If it's so good, it's considered the weakest. No, Colin, we'd be remiss to not mention this. When they went to the Expo of Tomorrow, did you catch some of the old? Because Marvel Comics started out basically during World War II, right before World War II, and a lot of their more famous characters were Captain America, but they also had Namor and the original Human Torch.
was the
And I
original
s-
Human Torch in this movie?
Yeah, you didn't see him. It was they called him the
I saw-
Synthezoid. That Phineas Horton's the Synthezoid is the
Was
Human
that the red
Torch.
costume?
Yes.
Okay, I probably wasn't paying attention too much, but I do remember seeing the costume.
Yeah, because he was one of the more I guess, little history lesson. One of the most famous comic book fights was between Namor and the original Human Torch. I think they said it like they had like a whole team of people trying to get the issue done, drawing the whole fight scene across New York City. Because Namor was groundbreaking for being an anti-hero.
Yeah, at the time. I mean, Dana would have been perfect for this episode, talking about Namor.
If only Namor found, because originally in the comics, Captain America was found by Eskimos worshiping his frozen body. The Namor threw the body of frozen body of Captain America at the Avengers, and that's how they found him.
Wow. I actually did not know that.
Yeah, so no Namor saving Captain America.
Well, again, they didn't have. I mean, they still really don't have the rights, do they? Isn't he? Oh, he's Fox.
So I don't
Or is
remember.
he Universal?
I think he's in a similar situation as the Hulk, where they've always had the rights to him, but they can't distribute the movie.
Okay.
So like, they can have Namor appear in any movie they want. I think it's always they just can't make a Namor movie.
Right, like Hulk, because that's owned by Universal. Because he's not Fox, because they own Fox.
No, I think it's Universal or something else.
If only Marvel didn't go bankrupt in the 90s, Craig. They could have had everything.
Well, see, we're saying, why didn't DC go back? I think DC was bought by Warner Bros. Way before Marvel went bankrupt. Like, they already had someone kind of keeping them afloat. Marvel didn't have that. Now they
Yeah.
do with Disney.
Interesting trivia, Craig. I think I do remember seeing that red suit.
Because I know no one really remembers that Human Torch anymore. It's always the Fantastic Four. That's where they got his name from. It was a callback to the original.
Well, also at that point in comic book history, they weren't just like dredging up everyone from the past. It seemed like they actually let characters go unused for a very long time.
Plus, a lot of those people who made the comics in the 60s were there in the 40s, so they had some sort of personal feelings towards them.
Yeah.
Like, I remember writing this character.
One last critique I have, Craig, is that I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and this story takes place over 4 years, but we never get a sense of time really passing aside from the destroyed factories. 4 years pass.
So yeah, I had to look at the wiki too because I looked it up because he obviously invades Norway. We don't know when. Apparently, according to the Marvel wiki, it's March of 1942.
Okay.
Steve enlists or tries to enlist, or he gets enlisted in June of 1943, and then he goes on the tour, and then he saves them in November of 1943. That's not that. It's only a couple of months. It's not a lot. 4 months of
Well, the whole
time
movie,
passing.
like it starts in, oh no, it starts in 1942, so it's 3 years.
Then they jump 70 years after World War
Oh,
1945.
ignoring that. So then they jump a year for when Steve is finally Captain America, and then they jump 2 more years to the train assault because Steve becomes Captain America in 1943. So 2 years later is when they go after the train carrying Zola. My point still stands though that it makes it feel like it happens over the course of like a couple months, but really 2 years of constant combat and fighting is a long time, and you don't feel that at all. I know he's a super soldier, he doesn't get tired of it, but everyone else, you just don't feel it in the movie. It makes it feel like it happens relatively quickly.
No, I agree. That's why maybe they had extra scenes in there to kind of maybe in between the fighting. Again, not a real good passage of time.
Yeah. And one last thing too. How stupid do they have to be they picked a game from 1941, right?
The one game he goes to.
Yeah. Why couldn't they just pick the game afterwards, like when he disappeared in 1946?
Why couldn't they pick
a month after 1945?
Or could they pick I think he was, I don't know the name of the teams, but he's probably from Brooklyn, right? So he's probably a New York Giants fan or the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah, I think
he's from Brooklyn, right? So be
be
a Dodgers fan. So maybe not pick one of those teams, maybe pick a team of 2 teams he wouldn't know of. Like have I don't know much about baseball history, but have the Philadelphia teams play or Boston teams be playing. Like, don't pick the one team he should know very well.
Well, the egregious thing is that they pick a game that predates the Captain America. That's the biggest dummy move possible.
Now, Colin,
of
I don't
course
know if
they
you
did
remember
that.
this.
It's a nitpick. Of course they did that. So he's like, "Oh, where am I? What are you gonna say?"
So I remember seeing this online, and I thought it was very stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So people were saying it wasn't the game that he recognized; it was the fact that this is a Reddit theory that I saw online. Which, mind you, it's Reddit, so it's very stupid. When the woman walked into the room, it wasn't the game that tipped him off. It was the fact that she wasn't wearing a period-accurate bra. He saw, your bra is more of a modern bra, not the ones that they wore in 1945. Something's off here.
Really?
I swear to God, this was a true thing. People thought that that's how Captain America realized that he wasn't in the right time period.
Okay, so that's dumb, but to answer their question for them, if that was the case, why did he single out the baseball game?
I told you, it was stupid.
If the baseball game had nothing to do with it, Craig, well, I know you know, but to anonymous Redditor who is I don't even know what to say to that. He would have singled out, I guess, the brawl, which obviously wasn't the tip-off for him. It's the game. How you
I feel
cannot
like
grasp that is beyond me.
I feel like he's a ladies' man too. Like if you could say
He was
Howard
very
Stark,
awkward with Peggy, yeah.
it was Howard Stark or someone who's obviously more of a womanizer. Like if Zap Brannigan recognized it, that'd be funny, but not Captain America.
I feel like that idea comes out of a parody.
Yes. I remember seeing this. People actually tried to give it some weight, like, oh, I could see that. They tried to do that nice thing. I could see that happening. I understand why you think that. I'm like, no, you're an idiot.
Was her
That's
brawl
stupid.
even showing? I don't even remember.
I mean, I guess he
she's
saw it through the shirt. Like he could see, I guess, the way it fits with the shirt or something. I remember seeing this.
I
And
would
it's
have
like
to
he
go
pulled the-
back and see. I don't know. Does he have like Superman vision? Can he see through clothes? The
No,
X-ray?
he just recognized like it was an ill fit, or why are people giving this the time of day? It is stupid.
Now I gotta go back, Craig, and I have to quickly see on Disney Plus.
And it's a real thing too. I Googled it because like I'm not crazy. I remember seeing this, and
Yeah.
yes,
I guess the imprint of the brawl, maybe, but that's a stretch.
It's always been a stretch. It was always
Yeah.
it's very stupid.
Well, when I show a screen grab of it, God, these kids, these people are so stupid. Oh my God. No, it's not the brawl, it's the game. It's because he singles out the game and he says, I was there. That's the whole point. Not a stupid brawl.
And not just the brawl, the fact that she's not wearing a period accurate brawl. Like if that's the giveaway, right? Maybe she's had like who knows why she had something different. Like that's not the giveaway. It's not like she was talking in a German accent or she looked like a cyborg. Like something that would be more of a dead giveaway that something's wrong. Like her haircut wasn't pure accurate for the time period. So therefore he must have known that he was in 2011 instead of 1945.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm glad I got to mention the bra theory, Colin, because I remember this years and years ago.
But do you have any other final thoughts, Craig, besides that dumb Reddit comment?
No, it's not. This is one comment. People talk about it. It's
Dumb
been,
Reddit theory?
I think I've said my piece.
Yeah, I think it's overall a very good movie. Maybe not the best Captain America movie, but still a pretty solid movie nonetheless. Definitely
Gives
one
a
of the
good
better
foundation.
movies in Phase 1.
Only have one more movie left, Colin. I wonder what it could be.
It's some scrub movie, I think. Well, with all that being said, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased, except ours. I'm Colin,
Craig.
and we will see you next time.